Are we ready? Okay. Hello, everybody. Can I have your attention? Welcome to the 10th Annual Global Mural Conference in Fairport, New York. And I just want to let you know we have these T-shirts for sale, $10. And I know it is cheap. Yeah, and some people last night I told them they were 20, so I got 20 out of them today. I'm only teasing. So one of the questions was, and it was a good question, was what does the circle represent? So what this is global, this is the world. Right here is the outline of New York State. And the star is Fairport, that's where you are. So you know how it says you are here in the malls? This is where you are, Fairport, New York. Okay. So we have large, extra large, and 2X. We need to get rid of them, so please be generous and buy them. And if you really want to be cool, then you can cut this around and look very artsy and roll up the sleeves, and you are in. People will want this shirt, I'm just telling you. So, Mark, if you could come up and introduce our first speaker, that would be wonderful.
Okay.
Come see me or Amy.
Should be a large, and we'll get one for that couldn't come to conference.
Okay, this is the large.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Woodcliff. This has been a tremendous location to paint this week. All of you, it's so nice to see everybody finally, some of you relaxing, I guess, including myself, because we had a lot of things happen in a short period of time. And one of the things that we did early on is to send out invites for not only speakers, and I'd like to thank my team for putting some of that stuff together, and for artists. And I was blown away how quickly the responses came back and where they were all coming from. It was just one email, and it got networked really well. And one of them was, I got this email from Kingston, New York, from Joe Concra.
Good, Concra, we'll take it.
Okay, and it was called O Positive, and I read this. That is so cool. They have a mural fest and music and raise money for folks who need health care and dental work and all sorts of stuff. And it's too bad, Ferris, you're here, because we got to connect you two guys, because he has the same kind of vision in Singapore and Nepal. So helping the world with causes. So this is why this is so cool. The global, we help each other. It's like the artists were all week. That was phenomenal. So, and I mean, you can explain a lot better, but that's what it's all about. So perhaps in the future we even branch out, and this conference does help folks in the future. So I'd like you to share your wonderful story, and he took this time out because I believe your festival starts in...
Don't tell me.
hey, you got to have a little stress too. This is not, you know, it's just got to all be sharing here. So, all right.
Thanks, Mark.
O Positive.
Hey, everybody.
Excuse me, Joe,
yeah.
is the lighting okay? Or do you want it down?
These, I think walking in front of this, so I'm
Okay.
over here.
Yeah. Yes.
Everybody can see okay? You're okay? Because I'm going to go really quickly through a bunch of stuff.
Good.
And then Denise Orzo, co-founder of the festival, partner in crime, collaborators here, to answer questions with me if you have any, because there always are. Mark said one thing about healthcare. You know, in 2010, I was at a party, and there was a dentist there, and he said to me, first he gave me a beer, and then he said, there's a band from Brooklyn, New York that I want to bring to Kingston, and just since we're dealing with a lot of history and murals, Kingston, New York is a small river town. In 2010, empty, lots of empty storefronts. The economy is kind of really struggling and sort of hanging on. And this dentist said, there's a band in Brooklyn that that's great, thanks. There's a band in Brooklyn that I want to bring up, and that's fine. And I'll clean their teeth. And I thought, wow, all right, there's a dentist that'll clean their teeth and they'll bring a band up to play in an empty storefront. Wonderful. So Denise and I started talking with some friends, and we quickly thought, like, who else will do this? So we called some other musicians. Denise and I are both artists, and we called some artists right away. We called some doctors. Got everybody together, and we came up with this idea. Could we exchange art and medicine for wellness services and healthcare? And could we actually build it? And we threw our first festival in 2010, and much to our surprise, a whole lot of people showed up. But not just a whole lot of people, a whole lot of doctors and nurses and dentists and massage therapists and acupuncturists. And when we came out of the weekend, we realized that this was something that actually had legs and would grow, right? So I'm going to fast forward quickly to a mural that was done last year by Gaia. And in exchange for this mural, you may not be able to hear it. Can you hear that okay?
Yep.
So in exchange for this work, Andrew got care at a clinic that we built that includes everything from dentistry to seeing a doctor, to signing up for health insurance if you don't have it, to working with massage therapists. Can you hear me if I talk over it?
Yeah.
Acupuncturists. So I'll let this go. This is right across the street from the first capital of New York State. So there was a historical issue between having the first capital of New York State and doing this mural. On this mural is references to Dutch flowers. The Dutch settled Kingston. Sojourner Truth on the top right, Underground Railroad. She helped. Her lawsuit took place in Ulster County, which this is the county seat. And John Vanderlyn up on the left. John Vanderlyn was the first painter in America who studied abroad. He was the first American painter to go to France and paint. This is the wall. It's about 4 stories high. And Andrew, of course, if anybody knows Andrew, he just freehands this stuff. No matter how high, no matter how big. There's Gaia. I love that you're laughing.
So quiet.
So in exchange for that wall, that is now, I want you to notice this one in the middle here, Mark. Thank you so much, Golden. Golden has been an amazing partner through this process of transitioning from where we started, which was paste ups, and moving into large-scale murals. Which, what I'm here to really tell you about is what art is doing, what music is doing in our case also, and care and wellness. But really what art is doing, because the walls that we're leaving up stay in communities, right? We all know this. We're all here, we all agree. But the value that we're saying is, look, for this mural that is staying up in these neighborhoods for as long as possible, these artists are getting care. Everything they could possibly think of that we can offer, and then they're deeply connected to us, which then means that the walls that we're doing are deeply connected into the neighborhood. And these are gifted to the city of Kingston in exchange. We were just talking about Jesse and Katie, right? Just so you know, they're not only happy that they were at O Positive and they got to see 60 bands and hang out with everybody and do all this other stuff, but they also got, I think, 5 teeth filled. So she put a little tooth up. I think Jesse put a little tooth up in the corner over here. But the wall, does anybody know Justin Arama? Chip Thomas? Amazing. Medical doctor from the Navajo Reservation. Did this wall to talk about these 2 wonderful African-American female poets and what they're doing and responding to different issues that they're dealing with in that community. This is the first wall Andrew did. This is the first large-scale mural we did, 6 stories over here to the left. Artemis rising up from the Hudson Valley, literally, to show all of the bricks, slate, that helped build the Manhattan skyline. Nils and Matt Pleva, who is a local artist. All the artists that we bring in and all the musicians that we bring in to all of our festivals nationwide are local, right? So we make sure that we go 50-50 at least. Once you see the golden painting, it kind of just pops. It's like amazing how bright. We have a large Oaxacan community in Kingston. This wall was done by Mataruta Nanook and Lunar New Year, and not only pays homage to the Hudson Valley and the Hudson River School of Painters, but also the Oaxacan community. And these guys got a lot of care. They needed to see a lot of different providers. In Chicago, Lunar New Year, and then on the right, Petaluma, California, two other places that we operate right now. Petaluma, we take existing spaces, alleyways, the dingiest, worst street corners you could think of, and we hit them and bring people to them. On the music side, we started with 10 empty venues, and we just started filling them. So over 7 years, what started as an idea for 1 year with a lot of empty space has become multiple filled venues. Every storefront that the outcome of what we do is every storefront that was empty is now filled with something. A cafe, a bar, a restaurant, a store. I just passed Chicago because I wanted to get to the real heart of the story here, which is the rock stars of O positive, right? All of our providers. Last year we had 125 providers in Kingston alone, 3 dentists that did 168 dental visits in 2 days. So 2,500 clinic visits, we've done over 7,000 hours of clinic, 500 dental appointments, we've gone over 1,000 musicians and over 350 artists nationwide, majority of that in Kingston. The difference is that we are connecting these people through our clinics. We're breaking down that access barrier, right? We're no longer saying like, oh, you're my doctor, you're wearing a white lab coat, I'm slightly afraid of you. We're saying, you're an artist, you're a musician, come into this room that we've built. We don't use an existing clinic. We build a room where everybody eats together and communes together, and that's where you get your care. And your care isn't just seeing a nurse and then a doctor, right? Your care are the things that you need when you're on a lift and when you're on tour. Your shoulder hurts, you need a massage. You've never thought about that. You discover self-care. You discover what it means to take care of yourself so you have longevity. Maybe you're one of those kids that's out there and you're using just a bandana and I give you a respirator and say, look, I know the bandana's cool when you're 20, but when you're 51, it might not be such a good idea. So we try to gain access for everybody and break down those barriers and walls at all of our clinics, whether it's Chicago, Petaluma, or Haverhill. In 2012, we realized that we could do this in a way that provides access to care for all of our artists and musicians, and that's our mission, right? But that the public needed to get in on this too, because the public comes and supports what we do, but really the public needed that access to care too. So we started building large public health expos. This is one we just recently did in August in the Bronx. And then we thought, okay, let's see if we can push the barrier a little bit further. Not only were we leaving behind these murals and this music, but what if we actually got the community to start coming to yoga classes, massage therapy, qigong, sound healing. Go to a gong bath. A gong bath? I didn't know any idea what. Does anybody know what a gong bath is? No. I had no idea either. You go into a room like this, there's a bunch of gongs, somebody starts playing it, you think it's amplified, it's not, and it just transports you to some other world, and you walk out going, you're completely energized. But Explore Weekend is what you get to do when you come to our festival, because you're all coming in 14 days, 6 hours, and 32 seconds. Sound healing, lots of dance classes, lots of fitness classes throughout the weekend, bike rides, and then we transform spaces, right? So all these spaces that were empty, these big churches, everything we can think of now become performance spaces, places that people congregate. Here's the key. It's all whatever you want to pay. This is the gift economy, right? Nobody paid. You don't have to. You come get a wristband for us. I don't care if you give us $0 or $1,000. We'd like you to give us money because it costs a lot of money to produce our festivals. But in reality, we're saying, you know what? We're all equal. We value all of you equally. That's what you're giving. What can you give? And it's amazing to see what people will bring. People will bring food for the clinic. People will show up and give us their last $6 and say, I drove here all the way from Pennsylvania. My favorite band is playing tonight, and I really want to get in. Can I get in? Of course you can, right? And then people will write us very large checks and say, we really get that. Because what we're doing is we're providing a paradigm shift in healthcare in America, right? Because we're using the art and music as a Trojan horse to go into neighborhoods and say, you know what? Things are really screwed up. Whether you have insurance or not, you're still not getting the care you need, and you're not taking care of your own well-being. So we're here to help you connect with your neighbors, connect with your community, and see each other equally. So that wristband everybody wears, and it gets you into everything. Some locations that we're in right now, and we're exploring going to, and I will leave you with this simple thought going back to your neighborhood. I gave you all buttons just now, right? We say apply pressure and elevate because we really believe that we are all in this together, and no matter what you're thinking about doing or where your activism lies, or whether you're just painting, or whether you're just viewing murals, that at the end of the day, if you think about where you want to go and the change you want to be, or the change you want to see, that change is you. So apply pressure and elevate. If you have any questions, we're both here. If not, we can move on to the next speaker. Any quick question? How do you do it?
Yeah.
How do you sleep?
How do you get the doctors involved in there? They do pro bono? They go.
Yeah, they do. The doctors all do pro bono. It's kind of it's funny because I'm thinking like, okay, who's not from America? Who has complete coverage under your government? Who thinks this is crazy, right? Right, Canada, right? Like, so and
But
for you,
it's incredible.
yeah. So we just asked them. I mean, literally, we just asked them. We just literally called our friend Art, who was a doctor, and said, "We know you love music. Would you see a musician if they played with this idea?" And he said, "Of course I would." So now it's building, and I have some stuff with me. I have this year we're doing something really incredible. We are, for the first time, there's a clinic that operates from Brooklyn to Albany, 100 clinics. We now have access cards for all of our musicians and all of our artists to just walk in, pay whatever they want, see a doctor, see a dentist, see what they need. So we started that this year. I also have with me, for everybody to take with them, pharmacy cards. 30% off generics, 50% off, no, 30% off name brand, 50% off generics. You all in this room should never pay what you're paying for in pharmacy. For any drug you need at the pharmacy, if you're paying full price, you're being taken for a ride. I've got cards here for you to just take with you and give to your friends and just use. We're an access point, right? We're finding all of these things that Denise and I didn't know. We were painters, right? I came out of graduate school, I'm painting my whole life. I had no idea that if you asked people to get involved, that they would, right? And it's like, so you just ask the doctor. And then the funny thing that happens is this. 2 years ago, I saw a good friend of ours who was a doctor who had been in the clinic all weekend long. And I said, "How many people have you taken care of?" And he said, 4. And I was like, "What? There was a line out the door. How did you only take care of 4? And he said, "I spent 45 minutes with each person. I intervened in their life. Like, I changed their life. I've gotten them on a course that they can now take care of." And he's like, "And that's what I got into medicine for. Not to sit down for 8 minutes or 12 minutes in a cold office and put you through the system really quickly and say, okay, here's your next step." Right? So we do all sorts of crazy stuff, right? If you need x-rays and we know a way in, we just finagle the system because it's all there to be used. So,
Great stuff.
so Denise is our art curator, and this year in 13 days, 7 hours. Yeah, I know, I just keep skipping days. Mothers of Invention is our theme this year. In Kingston, we have 35 artists coming and 61 bands coming. A whole weekend of Explore. We're also doing things like Narcan training. Does anybody know about Narcan? There's a big opioid, big opioid epidemic right now in New York State, especially with heroin. So we're getting all of our venue owners now to get trained on Narcan. So if somebody ODs, boom, hit them with a Narcan, keep them alive. Yeah. So what we're trying to do is wherever we can intervene using art and music, right, as like the in, right? It's really great to go into a corporate boardroom and like I'm dressed up today, right? So it's great to go into a corporate boardroom and be like, hey, we're coming in with art and music. Nobody says no to that, but in reality, we're changing lives, right? And we're doing it together. So are there any other questions? Like, wait, what do you mean it's free? That's always a good one. How do you support yourself? How do you support yourself? We don't support ourselves, but the festival supports itself by asking. That first year, literally, we knocked on doors and we said, we have this crazy idea. What can you give us? And like our neighbors were giving us like $20, $15. And when we came out of that first year with money in the bank, then I literally thought like, Denise, what do? We're like, we opened a bank account. We had no idea. We became a nonprofit in 2013. So, but we don't really do government grants. We have foundation grants. We just got an anonymous foundation for the Tides Foundation for $245,000 over 3 years. It's a matching grant. So if anybody donates today, not that I'm asking, but if anybody were to go online and donate, it's worth double this next 3 years. So we're just beginning our capacity building, and we're looking at growing to other cities. 10 by 2020 is sort of our goal right now, our internal goal. So if anybody lives in an underserved community, wants to talk about more positive, we're here. Good?
Yes. It sounds like a nice marriage for us in the future here. For the Global Mural Association to take on larger scope things. As we move forward with our leaders here, we can all network. Yeah. Because this is important to bring, because you got a message that we need to carry around the world. And so hopefully we can all sit around at one of the breaks and make some of that happen. So
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, we're totally into co-collaborating.
That's what's important. And bartering works great through the years. That's right. So we're right on.
Hey, are we able to put that screen, or no?